Hey, Goddess, welcome to our podcast. We are Wendy Lou and Angie Kay, two goddesses on a journey of awakening and embodiment together, traveling hand in hand through the trials and tribulations of this roller coaster ride we call spiritual awakening and ascension.
It was only a matter of time before we started our own podcast to share what we've learned along the way as energy practitioners and spiritual entrepreneurs.
Join us twice a month as we explore metaphysical topics, spiritual awakening, collective energy updates, spiritual entrepreneurship, the divine feminine and divine masculine, and all things goddess.
Our vision and mission is to provide a safe space to express the unspoken topics of awakening the divine feminine. Our desire is to heal the generations of shame, secrecy, and illusion that have shrouded the divine feminine teachings. So we hope you join us here on our podcast. Welcome to this episode of the Hey Goddess podcast, where Angie Kay and I are talking about the upcoming energy, most notably this new moon and annular solar eclipse coming on February 17th, which is also very interestingly, you can't make this stuff up, right? The first day of the Chinese year of the fire horse. And so all of these things are aligning to bring in some pretty powerful energy. If you've been going through the ringer, if you've been through the ringer these last few years, and honestly, for a lot of people, close to a decade, right? Like even before, the lockdowns and everything, I think a lot of people were already going through massive changes in their lives. But what's coming is what they're calling the Ring of Fire. So let's just dive in. Let's just dive in and start talking about that. The one thing I want to say real quick is I looked it up to make sure I had it right, but Neptune is now in Aries for 14 years, and that's a big deal. And when
Wow.
it was in, and the last time it was there, huge transformation during that time. So Neptune in Aries is very important. And Chiron is in Aries, which, as we know, Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron is it's a lot of childhood wounds that will come to the surface to be healed, because the childhood wounding is what creates the wounded healer to begin with, right? Is the things we go through as children. And so Chiron being in Aries, not retrograde, but direct in Aries, is also huge because we've had a lot of Chiron in retrograde in other signs, just really pushing and pulling those wounds to the surface. And so now we're moving forward with that fiery energy in Aries. And then Saturn is going to be going into Aries on the 13th of this month. So yes, just two planets in Chiron, but two big planets, two very important and big planets. So yeah, what are you getting around this? Because I think we could probably talk for hours, but let's try and hone in
Let's hone
on
in.
what's
I'm just,
coming.
right off the bat, on a personal note, I'm
Yes,
grateful that Chiron is out of my sign.
there you
I'm
go.
like,
Yeah,
somebody else can take that ball and run with it.
yes, which is
Yeah.
Pisces, by the
So
way.
that
So if you're a Pisces,
that feels great. Yeah.
yes, thank
So
you.
yeah, let's tune into the eclipse. So we went into Wendy and I opened the Akashic records of the eclipse energy plus the fire horse, all both happening and aligning on February 17th, right? It's like surprise, no
Crazy, right?
surprise, of course.
Again, yeah, you
Yeah.
can't make this up. If
Of
you
course.
think anything's a coincidence anymore, then you've not been watching us.
Right, right. So I was getting right off the bat when we opened the records, I felt like I looked at the energy of what it like the visual energy of it too. It looks like a reset button, right? It looks like a
Right.
button. It's
Yeah.
lit up, if
Not to be
you're
confused with the easy
somewhere and
button. Yeah.
right, maybe it's not the easy button. I don't know. But if you think of a button that's lit up and it's like got the ring of fire around it, it's like this is our reset button. So I feel like that just speaks to, probably what you were saying, a lot of the really challenging things that have happened the last decade
Mhm.
has been
Mhm.
the probably the most challenging of their entire life, right? And this is like the boop, we're pressing the reset button and entering a new phase, which is like, you like the boop, the sound effects.
I like the boot.
We're so yeah, I think we can be excited to enter a new phase. Now, of course, with new phases, there's always challenges because we don't always know how to operate in a new phase. Like for the last, if you're resonating with 10 years, you might have gotten accustomed to the challenging phase. And so you might have, you know, like a lot of programming in place around, okay, this has been very challenging and I've created ways of dealing with that and operating in that last 10-year cycle. And then, so sometimes the challenge in a reset, in a new phase and stepping into one is just, it's like you need a new operating system. So then
Right.
you're kind of having to learn what works and what doesn't work. And honestly, like people have been saying that for about the last 2 years to me. I've definitely been noticing it maybe a little longer, but a lot of the things, and I think this was the transition, sort of the cusp of the button, the reset button,
Mhm.
is like what things don't really work. Like things that I used to do just aren't really working. Why doesn't stuff work? And so I think it's like kind of was like a release of that operating system
Right.
so that
Yeah.
we can bring on a new operating system. And I think that's what the button is. It's like, okay, turn it on, turn on the
It's
machine, turn on the system.
right. And I think the old system is just completely crumbled now. Like there's no holding
Hmm.
on to it. And people are starting to see that in not just in business, right? Like you, I know, deal a lot with specifically like the entrepreneurial, aspect of it where things you were doing for your business were not working anymore, but it's going to be across the board, things in your life, things. So if you're experiencing this, right? Then that is definitely aligned with the energy that's coming in. We really, truly cannot hold on to anything that we were doing before that isn't aligned with this new energy. It's gone. It's absolutely gone.
Yeah, it's interesting that we're talking about this because I just put everything together for the Himalayas retreat and I was asking like who is this for? So I can, say the right words to let people know like who is this trip really
Right.
designed for? And it's funny because what came through was people who feel like they're in a phase of a lot of things just aren't working like they were before. And so it is like the retreat is like a reset button is what's interesting now that we're
Mhm.
talking about this is unfolding. I understand more where that came from, because I was just open to like, I'm facilitating this. Who is this exactly for? Universe, tell me. And that's
Right.
really what came through. So it's like these people, they're in like this liminal space between, you know,
Right.
operating systems, I guess we
And
could
they're
say.
starting
And
to see that that's what's going
yeah,
on, right? Like it's
yeah,
for a long time we hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm like, oh, we just need to try harder, right? We just need to lean in. No, it's really about letting go of and resetting, but kind of
hmm,
going back to the drawing board as
yeah,
far as like you did, you stepped away, when you wrote your first book, you stepped away totally from
hmm,
your business and had to really look at it from that perspective, almost, as an observer and go, okay, now I can
hmm,
go back fresh now and just start brand new processes. So yeah, I think
yeah.
that's a lot of people are in that space, especially people who would be inclined to listen to this podcast, I think are in that space.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can resonate with that. And what I see after, as soon as we're really able to embody the operating system, the way of going forward, right? I see a lot of people thriving, people that felt really held
Mm,
back, or like almost like if you think of rain back, like a bow and arrow where it's pulled back, right? And they just felt like stuck there. So many people, would say, like, gosh, I put so much into this. But it is like, I feel like it's um, the era of really the harvesting of all of that sort of like, well, how could we, I was going to say scratchy.
okay, go
So
for
it's
it.
like when we talk about the scratchiness, I'm feeling like it was almost like sandpaper. Like we were up against sandpaper, but we were like sanding off this old,
Right.
all this old way of being. And like we came out of the year of the snake, so everyone resonates with we were shedding some,
I like the
old
sandpaper.
skins.
That's really working for me
It
because it's
was.
so
It
right.
always felt like we were being, maybe like we were being molded. I'm even seeing a
Sure.
statue. It was like we were being molded. A lot of us who, feel like we're leaders in this evolutionary space and
All these rough
helping,
edges were being
right?
smoothed.
Yeah. And then I see like we were being molded for this next phase. So a lot of us are
Oh,
stepping
I like that.
into, yeah, the phase where it makes more sense if that resonates. It's like we came out of the scratchy phase where everything didn't make sense. And like you said, we
Everything
were
was
rounding out
abrasive.
these corners, abrasive and scratch. Like every
Yes.
sweater we put on was a
Everything hurt.
scratchy sweater. It's
Yep.
like I can't even wear clothes anymore. They're scratchy.
Oh my goodness. I feel
Right.
this. I feel this on a deep level.
And I feel like there's a relief, like, of course, like with any reset button, like there's some sort of
Sure.
like figuring out the new system. Like everybody's been in that situation where they throw a new computer program at work out and you're like,
You're in
oh my
shock for a
gosh,
little
I'll
bit.
never figure it out.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then you finally figure it out and you're good. And it's better than the one before, of course, right? So yeah, I think that's the thing. I think there's a softness. I think we're moving out of the scratchy
Oh,
sweater
good.
phase and
Love it.
we're gonna be
The
able to
wool
wear some
sweater.
soft clothes.
Oh my
Softer
goodness.
clothes. Yeah, so those of you who have been really working, and I know there's been some updates that I've given in my newsletter. I know there's been some trickling in of this, like, hey, like it's all starting to pay off. Like, just trust that it's all starting to pay off. And I know that's come like a lot of times in 2025. So I think that was a preparation energy for moving through the ring of fire, right? Like we got to jump
Here
through
we
the ring.
go.
I was
Yeah.
like, we're at the circus. We're gonna jump. Like Wendy always says, we're gonna hold hands and jump.
Sometimes it's a Thelma
Like,
and Louise driving off the cliff, like,
hmm
and you just have
hmm
to trust. And that was one thing that I was getting too, tuning into this energy overall is we're going to be taking bigger risks because there really is no other way to go. And so
and
I
it's
feel like
11:11 as you're saying that.
oh, perfect. And I
Hmm
feel like that it's going to be less scary. I think because we're going to be seeing everybody around us kind of doing the same thing. It's like, oh, okay. Well, if everybody's, gonna jump. And of course you don't want to be the last one, right? But there will be people who have to see everybody around them doing it first, and that's okay. That's totally okay. But it's that energy of it's time to move. And it's time to move despite what you're nervous about, despite what you're afraid of, despite the shock of a whole new like one thing that I'm getting is I just feel like a lot of people are already feeling this is like you are going to be a totally new person and your life is going to reflect that. So different things are going to start coming in that you maybe never thought that you could manifest in your life and different aspects of yourself, even like even for me, I'm starting to realize that there were things that I might have used to describe myself before that I don't anymore in a good way, right? It's like, okay, now I'm coming into this new person. And that makes sense, right? With the snake being behind us now or almost behind us, we've shed that skin and it was a big one. It was a really, really big skin that we shed and it hurt and it was hard. And I know everybody can resonate with that. It was really difficult getting that really scratchy wool sweater off because it was from head to toe.
hmm It was like one of those
It was
moments
a
where you have to get
bodysuit.
a friend to help you get the sweater off. You're like, I'm stuck in the sweater. Would
Yes.
someone help me?
Oh my, in
My
the
arms
changing
are
room.
too tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no. I'm stuck in the dress forever. Yep.
It
So
feels
yeah,
like that. Oh my gosh, the panic you
it
feel.
did. It
Yeah.
totally did. And now we're like, I just like you were saying relief. I that feels so good. Like, yes,
hmm
claim it. Let's claim this
Let's claim
feeling of
that.
relief.
Yeah, we're the
It's
creators. Like this
and
is
it's going to
happening.
be absolutely. And even though it's going to be brand new and a little bit scary in that respect, we're all here together.
Hmm
You're not here alone. You're not here in this brand new space alone. Everybody is feeling this energy. And this fire horse, it's going to feel like almost like the horse is going to try and take off without you. But really, I don't think it can. Like, I don't think it can. I think we're on the
hmm
horse. I think if you're still here, then you're playing the long game and you've done the work. And here we go. February
Yeah.
17th is day one.
I really resonate with what you're saying. It feels like the horse is going to take off without you because in the last week since we last talked, I planned a whole retreat to the Himalayas, which that just like was the horse taking off without me. And
Yeah.
I mean, I was present for it, but I kept waking up in the middle of the night, like, oh my gosh, I've just planned a retreat to the Himalayas. Like my body and my like my mental body, my physical body hadn't wrapped its mind around the fact that this was happening. But my soul, my soul side and my spirit side just took over on the horse. Like,
Right.
yeah, of course we're doing that.
The
That this
physical
makes
body's
complete
always
sense.
the one
Yeah,
catching
it's
up, right? Playing
mhm.
catch
And
up.
so my physical and my mental and my emotional body, I would say too, was like, oh my gosh, is this like, are we going to be okay? Of course we're going to be okay. Of course. I mean, it was just a matter of like everything catching up with what had just happened because it
Yeah.
happened so fast and it was so exciting and something that I had really wanted. Like, Wendy and I talk about our experience in India, and I had wanted, that's what we were doing, was scoping out for could we do something here? Like, and always
hmm
really wanting to. And so when that came together, the Himalayas and the mountain idea just felt perfect after us doing the tropical scene and kind of
hmm
deciding what do we love and not love about that? And there were some things that we loved and some things we didn't love, but then settling in on the mountain thing was like just made sense. But yeah, the rest of me, on the soul side, it just made sense. But the rest of me was like, whoa, this is
Yeah.
happening very fast.
And it
So
is the
yeah,
physical body usually
it
is the
could feel like
last
that.
to
Hmm.
step into the frequency, right? And it's because the
Yeah,
physical body is the heaviness. The physical body is where
densest.
we're storing the trauma and things that we heal. And so yeah, it's the
Hmm.
densest, absolutely. So it'll take it sometimes is it makes sense to me that you that it was waking you up in the middle of the night. Oh my gosh, did we actually just do like it was talking to the soul while you were sleeping and it went, we did what? And then, yeah, so then your body's playing catch up, but that makes total sense.
Yeah, it does. But
And
when you said that, I resonated so much about the horse
yeah,
taking off without you, because I feel like the horse is soul, it's spirit, right?
right, right.
And
And it's
it's
on
jumping.
fire
Like
right
if you
now. Yeah.
imagine if you imagine the horse is like, this is like a beautiful thing I'm seeing. It's like jumping through the hoop, like the ring of fire is the hoop, right? So it's like this trickster, not trickster horse, but like what do you call it? Like
Yeah, I know
equestrian
what you're saying.
show that
Yes.
you're at. Yeah.
Right, right.
Where it's like doing
Doing
these
tricks,
these
not
tricks.
tricking, but
Yeah,
yeah.
not tricking, but yeah, it's like this amazing like trained
But
horse
it's more skill and
jumping
trusting
through, because
and
you're that
taking the
trained
risk.
horse. Yes,
Right.
you're the trained horse at this point. You have been trained for everything you
Because
need.
you've been doing the work.
Right. So you're taking off, jumping through the hoop. And that's how I think that was for me, like this next level of my business. And I've been saying, and you know that for such a long time, involves travel
Right,
and like really stepping into that because, my waiting for my kids to be at an age where that was doable for me
right.
took time. But then
Mhm.
the horse just took off. When the time was there, it was like,
Right.
oh, wait, where are we going? Okay, I gotta hold on a
Like
second.
in
I'm just gonna wake up
anticipation.
at 4 in the morning and figure this out, I guess.
Yeah, well, in anticipation of this energy really taking off, it's like we're already feeling it.
Yeah,
I mean, we're not far
yeah.
off from the 17th. I mean, what is the
We're
date? We're
not.
recording this on the 6th, so
And now
we
it's
are
11:17
only,
a.m. How funny. So the
yeah,
17th popping
crazy.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So yes, the 17th is just 11 days away. Is that right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
From
11,
where we're recording this.
there's
We
a
don't know
great,
when this will land in the podcast
no,
world,
but
but we're recording it 11 days
we
from the
like the
17th.
number 11 for sure. So, yeah. So, I mean, I definitely have been feeling this, and I think we've talked about this before in these episodes, is just the last few, since we've been back from India, we both experienced this kind of nervous system, this whole reset, right, has been taking place in
Hmm.
us through our trip to India since we've been back. And it's been like, I was comparing it to like a forest fire, burning everything to the ground, but nourishing the soil and preparing for that next phase. And, they say, as devastating as forest fires are, they are a great reset for the soil, which is the foundation for new life, right? So that forest grows back stronger than ever and thicker and more vibrant and more abundant and everything. And so that's the phase that we're in right now is yes, we've been burning down everything. And this is everything as within, so without, right? Like we're seeing the burning down in the world too right now.
Hmm.
And, depending on how much you're connected to that or not, know that it is directly correlated to what's going on within. It is directly correlated
Hmm.
to the soul's ascension in this human existence right now. And so it's a burning down. The soul knows what it's doing, right? Like the soul, and we've talked about this just recently too. It's like the soul and the body has its own consciousness. The physical body has its own consciousness that wants to hold on to heaviness, that wants to hold on to certain things, but the soul is driving the bus, right? The soul is
Hmm.
in charge. And so we so long let the body be in charge, and then the soul was suffering, right? The soul was contained in this tiny little space, and now the soul has been freed. It's like the gates being thrown open for the horses to run, right? Like I always picture the horse race, and so I
Hmm.
keep seeing that image right in my head of the
Okay.
those gates coming up and the horses just going, and they're on fire. They are on fire because that's the energy that's coming in. It's like they're and we are not going to be left behind because like you said, we're the horses. It's not, our souls are embodying this soul, this fire energy that is really just ready to go and ready to run. And we've been feeling
Mhm.
this for years, right? Like wanting to go but not knowing
Yeah.
where, wanting
Yeah.
to go but not knowing how, wanting to go but being
Hmm.
held back by things. We've been burning all that stuff to the ground.
Yes. And one thing that's coming to me around this, and I've done some posts around it, and I think I did maybe a email newsletter around it, is when you're working with this fire energy, like this creation force, very powerful energy, we have to have containment, right? Because sometimes when we step into like really creative energy, we can start to scatter. Because what does fire do when it
Right.
gets too big? Like you said, forest fire scatters. So it's important that we're tending to this in a way where we have a stream for this creative energy, because ideas are creative energy, right? And if you
Mhm.
have too many and you just start all these different streams and all these different directions, your fire spreads and you don't actually have a successful experience in one place. So it's important that, and so many of us already have like set up some sort of containment for our fire, right?
Right.
Somewhere for it to go, some sort of creative place. Because
Right.
if we don't use our creative energy, it stagnates, right? So most of us know this by
Exactly.
now.
And we don't want to lose our focus on,
Right.
and I think more
That's
people than ever
the,
know where they're going
hmm
now. So, yeah,
Yep.
the focus
It's a
is here.
focus. Yep. Focus is the key to this, right? So having your containment requires focus. Otherwise, with
Absolutely.
this much creative energy, you can just find yourself like an octopus going in six different directions, but not getting the success
Hmm.
you want anywhere. So focus, right? Focus your energy. If you have an idea, you can ask, does this fit in with my container or not? And if it doesn't, you don't have to follow every idea you have, right?
Right.
The
Right.
universe is going to throw out ideas. You're plugged into the collective consciousness where all the ideas live. You don't have to follow every single one of them.
Right.
So does it work or not within your container? If it doesn't, let it go. If it works, if you can weave it in somehow,
Hmm.
work it in. But
Right.
make
And
sure that you're saying that it has focus. Like you said,
right.
Wendy, that's the perfect word for fire and creativity.
Yeah. And the best way to decide, like if you're not sure if it fits in, go that way a little bit. You're going to know real fast if it aligns or not. If you take a few steps in that direction and everything feels wrong, then that's your message, right? That's your guidance. But if you take a step, it feels good. You take a step, it feels better. Then likely it's supposed to fit in. It's supposed to be part of that focus. Because you've been talking about this for months, right? It's like there are a lot of maybe little things we've been doing that can be one, that can come together and complement each other and be part of a bigger vision. And we've maybe in the past been, okay, well, I have this over here and this over here and this over here. Well, what if those three things came together to make one big, beautiful thing? And that's the new focus.
Hmm. Yep. And I think that's the important piece to look at is, can you bring it together?
Right, right.
And if you
As long
can't
as
and you're
it's
just
part of it.
scattering your energy, then how can you pull back from scattering? And
Right.
sometimes we
What
can
can
scatter,
go?
like one defense mechanism we have against our purpose, because our purpose is like the high to for our ego, the highest risk thing that we do is follow our purpose, right? And this is
Hmm.
fire horse, this is soul, right? So sometimes what people will do is they'll scatter their creative energy into other people's purposes, right? Like, oh, I'll just be over here like um
Oh my gosh,
like
yes.
being the dance mom,
I'm
whatever. That's
guilty of
just an
this.
example,
Yeah.
right? Like because like I want my creative energy somewhere in here, so I'll focus in it with my kids, right? Something
Hmm.
they're doing. Or you can focus it with friends or family or whatever, right? But really, like, is that you just defaulting to like your purpose either into someone else's life or trying to help someone else live their purpose, but ignoring your own? It can be both,
Right.
right? Like sometimes we
Yep.
can try to get someone else to do our purpose. We can do it with our kids, like, hey, why don't you get into dance? But really, it's that you want to go take a dance class, right? And so, which is
Right.
it?
Or
So
you
it's
feel like
really
you
just
missed
look
the
at,
boat on when you were a
yes,
kid on being a dancer
right,
or whatever, right?
right.
Yeah.
And that's important to always realize, did you ever really miss the boat? Or can you always do what you want at any time? You really can. I
Right.
mean, that's a shift in consciousness for people. So that's the thing, is just really looking at your streams and where are you putting that creative energy? Because you get so much each day to bring through, right? Are you putting it in the places where it needs to be? Or are you just doom scrolling Facebook, putting creative energy into leaving
Yes.
comments where it's just
Oh,
scattered
goodness.
energy, right?
Or plugging
Just rein it
into,
in this year.
right, or plugging into the fear porn of the day, right, that is out there.
Yeah.
on the news or whatever. I mean, I would recommend to everybody to don't watch the news, but I get it. Like there are things going on in the world that we need to be aware of. But being too plugged in where you're in fear all the time is not sustainable. And so it's about creating that new world and not feeding the old one by,
Hmm.
by
Yeah.
feeding that, we call it loosh, right? Like we feed the machine our fear, and that's what perpetuates that part of our world and that part of our reality. And we're not saying that it doesn't exist. We're not saying that it's not horrible, but what we are saying is there's a point in time where you being plugged in is perpetuating it, is making it continue to exist, right? In the reality. And so the more people that can unplug and pull away and really look at what your focus is, if you can let go of all of that and for even just for a short time, decide, okay, I'm going to let go of all of that and just focus on what I want to create in this world. You might be surprised what happens in the external, right? Like when enough of us go in and create the our own lives the way we want them to be, the world outside changes.
Yeah. I
So
love that.
the focus is
And I
very
mean,
important.
we're all guilty of like,
Right.
you know, going down those paths, whether it's just in our own little community or, the bigger world stage of the news and
Sure.
like, and then really getting into these like dark places around it. It's easy to do, but what I always have to tell myself too, and I hope it helps other people is the world is always going to be a world. That stuff's
Hmm.
always going to be out there. If you want to plug into it, it will always be there to plug into. If you want to use your energy to create a life that you really want, that's the only thing you can actually control. I mean, not that we
Right.
can truly control anything. I mean, it's really about letting go of control. But at the same time, that's the only thing I can do anything about is
Right.
really like what you said. And if we each do that, then it changes the world one person at a time. And I mean, that's
Right.
always like the hundredth monkey effect is just one person at a
Right.
time, changing their
Absolutely.
own life, realizing they're a creator, stepping out of victimhood,
Mhm.
right? We're always balancing the human side, the spiritual side, the
The
emotional side, every
soul
piece
and
of
yeah,
ourselves, right? There's no handbook for
absolutely.
this stuff. We're just
No, and we couldn't even write one because we're all
mm-mm,
doing it differently. I mean, yes, there's a
mm-hmm,
bigger picture, right? We could probably, I'm sure, I know there are books out there, right? Like, how to do this. But as we've said before, there are as many ways to do this ascension as there are souls engaging in the, signed up to do the ascension. For everyone, it looks different, especially
mm-hmm,
from the individual perspective. So yeah, there's no handbook. And the whole point is to follow your heart, follow your passion, be this fire horse and follow that path instead of things that don't work anymore or things that don't feel good or things that are for other people. Like you were saying, I tended to sign up to be part of somebody else's mission quite often because I was so
mm-hmm.
afraid of my own, right? And they'd be
Yeah,
like, "Oh, well, and I had people literally telling me, "Well, you're going to be my right hand." And I had to actually come to the realization that that was not my purpose at all. I am meant to be my own person standing in my own light, not basking in someone else's wake, right? Like not trying to take somebody else's light. And so I would sign up for that oh yeah, this feels good and I'll just be behind the scenes, whatever. And you realize, no, I'm meant to be in the spotlight and I'm meant to create that myself, not have it be somebody else's. But yeah, it's a big realization, I think, collectively that we're coming to with this ring of fire
mm-hmm.
opening up. And this button that we're going to push. Like I know there's a joke, at least with my kids, it's like, don't push buttons. Like, right? Like don't push random buttons. We're pushing this button because it's going to be it's what we've been waiting for, right? It's what we've been doing all this work for, is a lot of
Yeah.
this energy coming. I honestly, Chiron and going forward in Aries, or not retrograde in Aries, excites me more than anything, I think, because Chiron has been in retrograde in every single sign, I swear, the last 10 years, over and over and over again, and I've felt it. It's almost like
Yeah.
it's because that is the cleaning out the childhood wounding, so that we're no longer, the wounded healer is no longer our archetype.
No, I love that. Well, and too, like you said earlier, like leaving behind some of the labels. And you and I have resonated with leave behind the star seed label. Like
Yes. Yeah.
you're a full grown tree. There's no seed any
Right?
longer.
No.
Right? You know, you're a tree, you're the whole tree of the universe. No
Mm,
seed required anymore. So
right.
yeah, I there are certain labels like that, you know, when you kind of start off in the spiritual community and they make sense and it helps you in that moment to like have that label to
Absolutely.
say,
Sure.
yes, this resonates. But then later on, the label isn't serving anymore because it's a smaller label. And
Right. It doesn't fit
you know,
anymore.
like
Yeah.
I love how Kyle would say, like you've become the building. Now you've become the state. Now you've become
Yes.
the
The
globe, right?
city, the country. Yeah.
Right. Yes, it's like
Work
that.
your
It's
way
like
up.
the seed, the star seed is a very small concept, and then you've
It
become
sure
so much
is. Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
So in your consciousness, right?
We have more than
It's like you always
sprouted.
were that. It's but allowing your consciousness to
Right.
be. I always say like the whole thing is like when you are, you know, go through your awakening process and you understand you're awakened. And there's multiple awakenings, by the way. There are, you could go through, you know, six different
So many
awakenings,
more
of
than one.
course.
Don't ever let
So
anybody
many
tell
more
you.
than one. Yes. But I always feel like the thing is that around each one, okay, so if we isolate them, each one is just taking you to a more unlimited version of yourself. And that's the thing. I mean, that's really what's happening here is you're always expanding like you and I sitting here, Wendy, podcasting, we're in some level of limitation of ourselves, of this expression, whatever it is. It took us a lot to get to this unlimited space that we're in, but we're in some sort of limitation, right? So
Hmm.
then some other level or version of us is just a more unlimited version of who we are. And so that's, you could describe each awakening as that, which they probably are. And I just think
Right.
overall, that is the journey, is just discovering more and more levels of unlimitedness of self.
Absolutely. And it's like too, we hold on to an identity, right? And when we let go of one identity, we immediately want to hold on to the next identity, right? The next story we tell ourselves.
Hmm.
And people will be out there talking about don't hold on to stories, whatever. This is the process. This is the
Hmm.
process of creating and actually, like you were saying, it's already there. We're just shifting from one that's no longer working to one, okay, now this will work for a while. And then when that one doesn't work, okay, the next one. So we're grabbing onto the next story and the next story and the next story. And that's the process. So I feel like the point is to not beat yourself up for where you've been and the labels you've needed to identify with and the process the story you've needed to hold on to because it got you here. And like you said, we're in a story right now, being podcasters or being,
Hmm.
whatever. This is the story that is aligned with us right now. And there will be more stories to come. It's never ending.
Yeah. More
So it's
expressions
it's
of
really about
identity.
being good with letting go, like, okay, whenever this story no longer aligns, I'll be able to let go instead of holding on longer than we
Yeah.
need to, right?
And maybe too, it's when the story is just isn't fulfilling or fun anymore. Then you move on to the next
Absolutely.
because there's more soul growth in another, you know, experience or whatever for
Right,
you. So
right.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, this is what we're getting around the 17th. So
Yes.
get ready,
Goodness.
saddle up your horse. No, not your horse
The
doesn't need a
gates,
saddle.
no,
That's too
right?
restrictive.
We're
This
barebacking.
is bareback.
We're feral now. There's no stopping us.
That's right. We're just
We're
gonna get
just,
more feral.
yes. And you can visualize like being on the horse, but we really are the horse. Like that soul
Yeah.
is
Hmm.
the horse, and the soul is so ready to go. The soul is so proud of the work that we've
Hmm.
done and just so ready to move forward and to really show us. Like, we Angie and I often say, okay, universe, show us how good it can get. The
Hmm.
universe is about to show us how good it can get with this
Thank you.
energy,
Okay, I love that. I'm down for that. I'm
right?
jumping through that hoop. I'm pushing the button.
Claiming.
And any of you out there that were resonating with the Himalayas retreat being a big reset point for you, then please reach out to me. We'll put links below. I'm also doing 2 Zoom calls coming up. I'm not sure when this
Informational,
video
yep.
is going to, but if they've already taken place, then I will definitely have the recordings available where people are going to ask questions. I'm going to share all the details of the retreat. I'm going to talk about who it's for, which I touched on earlier, and I'm going to share all of the logistical details. It's very concierge. I've set up this trip to
Love
be
it.
super concierge where there's local English speaking and local language speaking people there to help with almost everything,
Yes.
which I love. So
I
that
love
was
that too.
something, it's so great, right? That was something, to help with safety, to help with transportation, all of these things, speaking, communicating, buying things. It's so awesome to have that. So that's all part of it. If that resonates for you, please check the comments below and we would love to
Absolutely.
talk to you about it.
Well, thank you everybody for being here. And, we have a lot of episodes out. So if anything pulls you, nothing is tied to time and space. It's whatever, resonates with you in whatever given time. So we talk about a ton of topics and we have a ton more coming. So thank you for being here and we will see you next time. Bye,
Bye,
Goddess.
Goddess.